Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
Chevron 1, coded.
For my ally is the Force, and the powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow.
You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Cry hammer, and let's set the dogs of war.
Chevron 2 is coded.
Conan, what is best in life? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, to hear the lamentation of your women.
It's all in the reflexes.
I'll also say that you're heavy into martial arts, Tai Chi and all that killer stuff.
I suppose we have to register you as a lethal weapon.
Chevron 3 encoded.
And somebody ought to belt you in the mouth. But I won't. I won't. The hell I will.
Chevron 4 encoded.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Chevron 5 encoded.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Chevron 6 encoded.
Now, come on, you can, monkey boy.
Great Scott!
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
You shall not pass!
I thought I'd die fighting side by side with an elf.
What about side by side with a friend?
A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
Chevron 7 is locked.
Working really hard to finish my coughing fit before we ended that. Hail and howdy, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Night Drive-In, where I am a survivor of dealing with Papa Nurgle. He has not killed me yet. I am stronger than ever. No, I'm not. I'm weak as hell right now. Anyway, hail and howdy. Everybody's having a good Saturday afternoon as we creep closer to the holiday season. This week, we're not having a holiday movie like last week, which was something nice and pleasant and a little campy. Although this is very, I'll tell you about it, this is a very campy movie. It's a lot of camp in this movie. But no, this is violence personified from the 80s and how they thought a dystopian future, literally the years we're in right now, would look like. And I am happy now to have Jed here compare the original to the old. Jed, hi.
Hi. Well, for me, the comparison is going to be very interesting because I watched the new movie earlier last week, I believe, and I'd never seen this one before, so I'll be able to compare one to the other. And I'm going to have some controversial opinions when it comes to that comparison, but in general, I think we're going to have a great discussion about this movie here.
Yeah, I mean, today we are talking Running Man, The Running Man, 1987, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Maria Conchita Alonso, Jesse, The Body Ventura, in it for all of 5 minutes, and a couple other people whose names don't really matter. But this is 87. This is Arnold is starting to near his peak. His ascension is happening in terms of where him and Stallone are climbing the mountain to be top action superstars for the 80s and early 90s. He basically can do whatever he wants for an action movie. It's like, okay, Arnold, we want you for this one, and he'll be allowed to. He just has to pick. And in the end, before we go any further, we'll just simply say The Running Man, 1887 Running Man. It's a mid-tier Arnold action movie. This is not one of his peak all times. It's a very simple movie. Honestly, I had I think this is one of the few times I'd ever actually watched it from the beginning. Because lots of the times I usually picked it up halfway through the first act and never really caught the beginning of it because I've never owned it. I've never actually even rented it. I always just saw it on television. You know, one of those things that I've seen it a lot of times, but never actually actively took it out of the video store or rented it on streaming or owned it. I mean, it's on my to own list. So this is the first time I saw it from, I think, honestly, I think in all these years, I've seen this movies dozens of times, but never, I think, from the literal opening credits, which is kind of interesting. I didn't realize that I usually always caught it through like the beginning, halfway through the first act. And it's
So you didn't know that there was a 3-minute slow crawl at the beginning with virtually no music, awful text. There were typos in the opening crawl.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I'm not a big fan of opening crawls in general. I hate it when
Star
movies
Wars,
did it.
the
It was
only
the
one that
staple.
works.
Yeah, Star Wars works because it's more atmospheric than anything. Like growing up, I never read the opening crawl to Star Wars, but it had the music. It was going through space. It was epically presented. But most other movies of the 80s and whatnot, trying to replicate the magic of the Star Wars opening crawl, they just put the text on screen with nothing else going on.
Yeah.
It's so unnecessary. And it's an example of what I think the new movie does significantly better. All that information you got in the opening crawl, you get through context clues in the new movie. There's no opening crawl. It's just you're going to figure out that the world is set up this way, with the network being a big distraction from all the horrible things going on in the general public. And all that information just wasn't necessary. Even in this original film, you can get all that information from the film itself. I find opening crawls to either be unnecessary or a lazy form of exposition. So they're almost always a detraction from a film, in my opinion.
This was not a big budget action movie of the time. They only spent $27 million on this movie. So there was no money in this. So its cheapness is apparent. That's the thing. Its cheapness is very clear. But it's that 80s cheap that kind of works, where it's not so much how it looks, it's how it performs in its overall feeling. And this world that they put us in, this 2017 to 2019, very totalitarian, where the government is running, literally government's running everything through television networks, propaganda. It feels as dirty as it is, and it feels as retarded as it is. And what I really like, and what I do like in this movie, what I find is a good thing, which unfortunately is not resolved very well at the end, is that people are scum. The people of this world are shit. They're so broken and beaten down by the world they live in that they get a thrill from watching people get murdered, hunted down. I mean, you see at one point there is another type of show in there, Climbing for Money, and it's basically dogs nipping at your heels, ready to kill you if you fall off.
These aren't games. They don't last a long time. I don't get how these are seasons of reality TV. And even with the Running Man, when you have the old ladies from the audience come up and place bets, and then they're just handed merch for 10 minutes.
It's pacification is what it is.
I get what the point of the show is, why they're making them, but none of these ideas seem long lasting. Like just climbing up a rope, how long is that going to take? That's 5 minutes, 20 minutes if it's a really good contender. What's the rest of the show?
Well, that's the only other idea of the program we have. We know there's other stuff going on in their world, but the only show that gets the attention is The Running Man,
right?
Because it lasts for at least 3 hours every night. And people show up in droves to bet money on it in the streets and to show up in the studio and get prizes. And it's all well orchestrated to be propaganda and as I said, to dope the population, to keep them pacified in their misery, because and locked in their silos and know what they can do, because this is a world where there is no art, there is no creativity, everything is state propaganda oriented. And I think one of the things the movie does do well, and I want to ask you, does the remake do it well too? Does it gets that point across that this is a sick and twisted world that is locking down its population, and the population seems to be happy with it?
The new movie, I would definitely say, accomplishes that. I know this is going to be controversial, but I think the new movie is better. it's not a massively better or anything like that. It's not a blowout difference. I
Mhm.
can see a lot of the similar things in both films. I really hated to see people calling the Arnold movie high art and the new one trash. That was a
I
big
never
thing that
said
was
that.
going. I know
Yeah.
you didn't say that, but I did see a lot of people making that comparison. So I was expecting a really solid movie going into The
No,
Running Man with Arnold.
it's a mid movie. It's a
Yeah,
mid movie. It's
it's just a
fun but
dumb
mid.
fun movie, and they're
Fun but mid.
both like that. So the glazing of this movie, the rewriting of history for this movie that's currently going on the internet really bothers me, especially when the newest one is very similar and on a pretty on par level when it comes to writing. I think it gets the
Mhm.
edge in a lot of areas, but it's still close enough. And yeah, the new movie, it accomplishes all that with some tweaks. So in the new movie, the reality TV shows are, yes, opiate to the masses, distraction from everything else going on. But the main character, instead of being a ex-police officer who is framed for this massacre that he refused to be part of, he's a normal factory worker who's been laid off because he has anger management issues that's prevalent throughout the whole film, and his daughter is dying of the flu and he can't get her the medicine she needs. And in this world, all the different reality TV shows, because they show like 10, 15 different
Mhm.
other TV shows. It's not just The Running Man and a snippet of another one. They really show you all these different options. Anybody can apply to be a part of them, and they're the best way to make money. So the reality TV shows, they're hope for the plebs of this world. They're a way to break free of the slums. So he goes to volunteer for some of these shows to help pay for his daughter's medicine, and he doesn't want to be part of the Running Man, but the main producer sees his anger management issues and like, hey, he'll be good entertainment, and pulls him onto the Running Man, forces him onto that show, and that's how that happens. But it's the shows are a goal for these people. It is the way out. That's why they're so obsessed with watching it, because they want to see if their friends, if anybody else is able to accomplish what needs to be accomplished to escape their horrible lives. They're dying of the
That's a
flu.
stark difference from
It's
this one. In the original one, the people watching this show, people getting off on it, they are literally the masses that have been pacified by violence just
Mhm.
because and also the way they twist it, they make it seem that they, and we know it's a lie with Arnold's Ben Richards, is that, oh, these are criminals and the stalkers are the good guys. No, the stalkers are literally psychopaths that have been
Mhm.
given licenses to kill and get off on it in various wacky ways. I mean, that one of the things that is cringe of the original, and I will say it, are like the stalker outfits and designs.
They're
It's
ridiculous.
retarded. They
And
are retarded.
and with how the stalkers work and the Running Man game itself works, from what I heard, the new movie is more accurate to the book, so I don't know
Yeah,
if
it
this
is more
aspect. I
accurate.
don't.
Stephen King worked more closely with this, and
Mm,
we talked about this recently. It wasn't until recently that I knew that Stephen King wrote the original, because when you watch this one, it's just based on the book by Blah, and that's not Stephen King's name. That's a pen name he was
mhm.
working under when he wrote that book. So you didn't know that, and he had no real connection to the original '87 version, and was much more involved in this one to make
Right.
sure it was more accurate to his original book.
But with this older one, I don't get why it's called The Running Man. Is a problem that I was having. Is in the new one, the Running Man game is the three contestants. They get presented to the public, whatnot, and then they're able to disguise themselves out, and then they run away. They run from the network building, and they just try to hide among the population. And the population is trying to look for them, get rewards for spotting them with their phones and whatnot. And the hunters are, the gladiators or whatnot
Mhm.
from this movie, are going out, tracking them down, being detectives, trying to find these contestants who are running out in the world. So it's more being on the run as a criminal or something. So the name makes a lot of sense. And this one, it's more an obstacle course
Well,
with
it's rigged.
wacky.
This
Well,
one
it's
is
rigged, but
massively rigged.
it's a wacky obstacle course. Oh, you want Ice Skate Man? Oh, can you get through the room with Ice Skate Man? There's very little running in the Running Man, whereas in the new one, it's all running. Like he's constantly running from the hunters, from cops, from
Yeah.
being spotted. And the name I don't think makes sense in this old one because of the changes they made from the book.
Mhm. That's a fair observation. And the bigger difference that I knew you were going to be able to bring up, because at least I can at least tell that from the conversations and the trailers, at the very least, is that the current version, the remake, uh, is definitely open world. There's not as much control. One thing that jumps out at you is that the 87 Running Man game is completely controlled. There's eyes, the cameras are watching, they're tracking them. They're able to tell the stalkers exactly where to go. The stalkers don't have to do any work. They just have to either catch up or be there waiting, like with the ice skating Asian man in his goalie outfit. So
that's true of the new one as well. They are
Okay.
actually tracking everything. There's these little cassette videotapes that you have to do every day or you're disqualified, and they track those. There's DNA scanners in all the lamp posts. They're being tracked all the time, but the network isn't telling the
but
hunters.
they're not being herded. In this one, the running men were herded in this one to each obstacle course and shit like that.
Yes, it's not quite to that same degree in the new one. The new one, they're herded when the network feels like it'll make the best television. So they have the information. The network always knows where everyone is, always knows what they're doing, and they're feeding out the information to try to craft the best narrative for the show. It's like, all right, things are getting boring. Let's drop a dime to the hunters exactly where this guy is or whatnot. Whatever will propel the drama the most. So they're using their control a lot more subtly. It's a scalpel rather than a sledgehammer.
And in the original version, these are two drastically different stories. In the remake one, and guys, I apologize if we're talking about the remake, but that was kind of the intention of this episode. We wanted to compare and contrast movies because let's be honest, Running Man 87, there's not a lot to talk about. There's not.
It's so basic. It's fun.
It's
fun. A fun movie.
It's a mid-fun Arnold action movie, but it's very straightforward. There's no twists and turns. There's no mystery. It's basically, how is Arnold going to kick this stalker's ass this time, or what one-liner is Arnold going to use? This, but he actually said, "I'll be back."
He did say, "I'll be back."
He said, "I'll be back."
This was just Arnold the meme movie, it felt like.
And it works, but it works.
It works, especially, I think, for people who have 80s nostalgia who grew up in this time period, because the Arnold Running Man, I feel, is so set in the 80s. It is they're wearing shoulder pads, for God's sakes. Everything about this movie isn't timeless. I know it's the 80s. I'm constantly reminded that it's the 80s.
The analog technology.
The analog technology. It feels like it's isolated in its time period and isn't actually part of the future. So that takes me out of it, because I'm expecting a futuristic society with more than just, slightly better technology. Fashion needs to be different. Vernacular needs to be different. There need to be subtle changes in society, and there's none.
It's 80s fashion. It's 80s hairstyles. It's 80s vernacular. And it's 80s technology.
It's just the most obvious stuff half of the time.
Yeah. So with $28 million budget, you don't have much to work with, so they just ran with it. But that's the point. So to those watching this either live or on the replay, we apologize that we're not solely talking about 87, but I put this in here because it was a unique opportunity to have Jed compare both movies really fresh off the top, since I haven't seen the new one, but I've seen the original one many, many, many times. So in the original one, the story is Ben Richards gets blamed for a massacre he tried to stop, and the Bakersfield massacre, and he then goes to a work camp for 2 years. And then he breaks up with some other guys, but those guys are part of the resistance that wants to topple the dictatorial totalitarian government in the United States. Doesn't talk about the whole world. We're just about the U.S. For some reason, LA is its center. Well, we're not surprised by that, really, are we? Originally, Ben wants nothing to do with it. He just wants to get the hell out of the country, but circumstances gets him involved. He thinks he's going to go to his brother's apartment, but his brother got disappeared for re-education, and Maria Conchita Alonso's character got moved in, and she doesn't drink the Kool-Aid, but she goes along to gets along, because she's got plenty of contraband. But then when she realizes that he was telling the truth, she decides to steal the information that would clear his name, and she gets busted. And at this point, everybody involved gets busted, and the dudes who escaped with Ben, Black Guy and Nerd, just called Black Guy and Nerd, they were part of the resistance, and they believe that the communication hub, which it both makes sense and it doesn't make sense, is located in the middle of the Running Man demilitarized zone. Because who goes there? Nobody. But then again, there's no security. So
There's a
Nerf,
lot of convenient things like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And why is the main producer of the network the same guy presenting the Running Man show? Why are the bodies still kept in the
Why they just
obstacle
leave? Why they
course?
just left them there?
Yeah, I don't know. It just made this world feel very small to me.
Oh,
I felt claustrophobic. The world building felt
mm,
claustrophobic to
mm.
me.
So essentially, in this one, it ends up being a fight against a big government, and the resistance wants to hijack a satellite so they can televise the truth. And
Mhm.
then once they get the evidence, they are able to do that. And it's all about then, of course, as we said before, Arnold's essentially going to kick ass and take names along the way. And it's pure Arnold. He just
Mhm.
kicks a lot of ass, a lot of fun. The stalkers are ridiculous, except for Buzzsaw, because he makes sense, but all the other ones are kind of ridiculous. Dynamo is just give me a break. I've laughed my entire life at that dude. That makes sense. The ice skating guy, he's only good in one place. You have to herd him to the ice skating ring, otherwise he's useless. And then now Jim Brown's. Yeah, I forgot that was Jim Brown as Pyro.
Mm.
But he's for one of the greatest running backs of all time. He's kind of like jogging after Arnold, not running very fast.
There's not a whole lot of running in this movie.
There's jogging. It's jogging.
There's light jogging, and
Yeah.
that footage that the producer saw of Arnold escaping the prison camp is like, that's my Running Man, and Arnold's just like flopping around, no form while he's running.
Now, but now what I do like is each individual fight is a good individual fight.
Mhm.
Arnold, and what I like at the fact is Ben Richards. We don't have to suspend our disbelief that he's able to do this stuff. He's a trained police officer,
Mhm.
which means, and in this era, that means you're a trained soldier because it's a police state.
Yeah.
So he knows how to fight. He knows how to kill. He has no problem killing to defend himself. So him taking out these guys all works for me. It all works, and it's all done well. It's believable. I like it, and I like that Marie Conchita Alonso's character can only defend herself when she has a weapon or circumstances allows her to trigger. Like, okay, she either gets her ass kicked or runs away, which is what that's how it should be. She's a
Mhm.
tiny little woman who's freaked out in that situation, or when she does have the gun, spastically shoots a guy. And then when Dynamo comes after her, manages to turn on the sprinklers. Smart move to short circuit the guy walking in an electric jacket,
Mhm.
circuit jacket. So it makes sense. It's how you do a female protagonist or who kind of, did I say pyro? Fireball. Sorry. I'm sick. Leave me alone. My excuse for at least the next several days. Anyway. It all makes sense, and I think it's smart how they beat Fireball and stuff like that. How he uses her for bait. She don't complain she got used for bait. He was hiding up in the vent, waiting just to yank off the gas canister hose to the gas canister. But it all works. It all works. And Damon Killian is a piece of shit, and you hate him. And I love that. Here's one of the things I do love. All right, first of all, simple first act, second act, third act. First act, complete and total setup. Total setup.
Mhm.
Second act is the Running Man game. Third act is taking over the set in the studio in the building to publish the truth. And when you get to the third act, it's all gunplay and firing, and that's more good Arnold stuff. And what I really do like though is that they set up the whole movie. Killian trashing his security guard constantly. And remember this guy, we've got to remember the dude who plays security guard, that's Arnold's weightlifting buddy from back in the day. He's in Conan the Barbarian. He's in just about every Arnold movie as either a thug or just there for a reason. So that's Arnold's workout buddy. And I love it. He says, "All right, Sven, you gonna take him on?" He's like, "No, I'm gonna go score some steroids." He just walks off because they could have gone, oh, one more fight, but nope. Ben's just gonna slap Killian into the rocket chair and fire him into hell, and it works. I think it's a nice little turnaround of we've had all the action. Here's a nice, simple, satisfying conclusion to getting revenge on a guy who just tried to have you killed for 3 hours. I talked a lot there. I need to rest. You go ahead, say some stuff. What you got?
I don't have a whole lot of thoughts in this movie just because, like you said, it's very straightforward. The plot is simple as all hell. Its saving grace is the Arnold action. Like the Arnold action movie is a tried and tested formula, and all these movies, they know how to deliver Arnold's best performances. They know how to get Arnold into the right type of action sequences and the right characters and just have fun with it. I could tell everyone on this movie was having a lot of fun. I had fun watching it. The action set pieces were actually really good. There were some interesting ones, like the fake fight scene where they made it seem to the world that Arnold had died. That I thought was a really decent fight scene. And I'm a sucker for Alien. Alien is my favorite movie now, and seeing Parker from Alien being involved in this, even in his limited role, was great to see. Besides that, though, a lot of the supporting cast doesn't get me invested in them.
Oh, they're not supposed to. Yeah, they're
the
not.
The old
there.
man in charge of the Revolution. Initially, he was just tech guy.
He has a
to
good
get rid of
line
your
though.
Collar.
He has a good line. You have the calm, Mr. Spock. You have the calm.
The Star Trek,
and the guy's
there
like,
was a
what?
couple references like that no one got, like Gilligan's Island and Star Trek.
and here the sad thing is, in 2017, 2019, people wouldn't get those references. In this, you realize that is a similarity in our 2017 and 2019. If you said Mr. Spock, take the calm, there are people that wouldn't get that, or definitely Gilligan's Island. Gilligan's Island has been out of the.
I think most people know of Gilligan's Island, but like when you started humming the theme song, most people aren't going to recognize that right off the bat.
Yeah, you gotta be an old fart like me. But I like the proper nostalgic callbacks, because that's in reality is 87. Star Trek is in the middle of its resurgence with the original cast movies. You're only literally TNG is about to start. TNG is about to start. Gilligan's Island is still relevant at that time, because there were a lot of revival movies and stuff like that in the 70s, and
it was always on reruns, I'm sure.
Yes, it was on Nick at Night all the damn time. So it was so relevant. So that makes jokes, but I find it interesting that those jokes would actually be relevant in our real 2017, 2019, where it's like, yeah, the people wouldn't get that. They wouldn't. They would still get Mr. Spock a little bit, but some people wouldn't. They wouldn't.
People would get, hey, I've heard of Spock, but not specifically you have the con, or what that means or anything like that. Which is sad.
Now, so you're right. It's a simple, straightforward movie. Very well. I think we could say it's well produced and well made. It's not. It looks cheap, but the cheapness, it's 80s cheap, like I said earlier, and it fits. They're not. Here's what I don't think this movie's trying to be anything more than it is. It's exactly what it is: a mid-level Arnold action set piece, and that is where the memories are. And I mean, he just does the one-liners. He was caught up. He was frozen. I'll be back. I told you I'd be back. I mean, it all just is there, and he even gets the girl in the end. Although it is kind of creepy how he's holding her neck as they walk out. That's really kind of a.
I don't like their romance.
Romance it's forced.
Doesn't
it's
make
totally forced.
Any sense to me.
It's totally forced. But it was the 80s. You had to throw a little bit of romance in there. Had to put the guy had to be something in it. If a kid wasn't involved, there had to be some kind of romance. That's why there's no romance.
Should have at least showed her tits then.
I don't think Maria Conchita Alonso ever took them out.
No,
I don't think she did. She did in Predator 2. She did not in Predator 2. Her character's actually pregnant in Predator 2, which is why the Yautja doesn't kill her, because you never kill future prey, possible future prey, because the prey needs to continue to procreate. That's the thing. Anyway, that's a different discussion we'll have at some point, because we'll do Predator 2 at some point. That's a good one. But so the performances are fine. Arnold is Arnold. Jesse the Body Ventura is a bit of a joke in this. He's barely in it. And there's the whole build-up, Captain Freedom, and Captain Freedom only fights a stuntman and kills a stuntman in there, and doesn't actually get in there. And here's where I think this is a fault. When Captain Freedom shows up in that silly outfit, which purposefully silly, that he's freaking out about. He's talking about honor of the fight, this and that. There could have been a moment there where, if they had the time or the effort, they could have had a minor moment giving him something to do. But then he goes along and kills 2 stunt people
Yeah, it
Snaps one
seemed like
girl's neck.
he would
then-
be against that.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's that there is a failing in the script right there because he was all about the honorable gladiatorial combat.
See, what I thought was going to happen when they were doing that whole, oh, we're going to use digital effects to change the faces. I thought they were going to do something interesting and say, all right, Captain Freedom, you go in there without your suit and you try to beat him man to man. And then they swap the faces of the real fight, make Arnold look like Freedom, make Freedom look like Arnold, and show Arnold killing Freedom, but it looks like Freedom killing Arnold. I thought that would have been what they were accomplishing, using Freedom's morals, for lack of a better term, against him. And I thought that would have made a lot more sense and been interesting. But unfortunately, Arnold was already out with the rebels at that point. So
they dropped the ball on Captain Freedom. That's one of the things I will say.
It became a nothing.
I mean, they had the big buildup of Captain Freedom, undefeated champion, and then they didn't give us that. They should have given us something like that. But they decided to use that, and then he's gone. He doesn't even show up when they're raiding the place. Now, maybe there was a reshoot, maybe there was a change, maybe
they were building up to something for him.
Yeah,
an actual confrontation would have been.
It feels like there was a change in the script, and then they went with the fake thing because that there's a break in the narrative there of his character. What little we got of it, there's a break in the character, and it doesn't feel right. That's always stuck out to me, and I'm glad you saw it too. That there was just it's something missing there. But other than that, there's not much else to talk about other than comparing it. Now we'll go back to the comparison. So the remake is about a man trying to save his family, as opposed to trying to take down the dystopian government. Because the remake is still a dystopian world, correct?
Yes, it's still very much a dystopian. The games are still used to distract the public in a slightly different manner, but the point is to keep everyone complacent while the corporations just make money off of them. And I think it works a lot better to have a family man doing that. I get more invested into the Glenn Powell's character than I ever did Arnold, because he's fighting for things other than himself, and he's always trying to get home. So there's no random romance arc with a hostage he has to take briefly in the movie. There's no romance arc with that. He has a wife that he's in love with. He has a daughter that he cares about, and I think the new movie is better. I really think it's better. The old one is absolutely fun with a lot of great action, but the world is a lot more deep. It doesn't feel claustrophobic. You do see multiple cities. He ends up going all the way up to Maine, I believe it is, in the new movie. We see several cities, the countryside, the way everybody lives in fear. They even have these police scanners built into people's houses that automatically connect with the police, and there's no privacy. There's no such thing as privacy. There are DNA scanners in the lampposts, so they are tracking everyone 24/7, and not just the running man. They're tracking everyone all the time, and it's a deep, vibrant world. I understand where everyone's coming from, and it's interesting. I really want to see more of that universe, because it showed me a broad universe with possibilities, and it showed me a bunch of different shows that were going on. And he didn't want to be the hero of the rebellion in the new movie, unlike kind of like Arnold, but in a different way. Once the public started to realize that he wasn't just this rage monster, wasn't just this criminal, basically, that he was being made out to be in the new movie, he became a hero for them. He's like, the audience realized he's an everyday man who doesn't want to be there, and he's just fighting to get back to his family. That's a goal better than anything that we have, and that starts to change the mind of everyone involved, and he's starting to reveal the truth of what's going on with the network and stuff like that. So the rebellion is widespread beyond just the city, beyond just a little bit. It's across the entire country that he's inspiring people. There are some issues at the end with how the game itself resolves. It's stupid. I won't spoil it because that's a little bit too much of a spoiler with it. Just
and we're not here to talk about that movie specifically. Yeah,
right. So there are issues with how the game resolves. There's absolutely some plot issues with that. I just found the characters to be more intriguing, the characters to be more deep, a lot of the side performances to be a lot better. Glenn Powell is a good actor, in my opinion. I think he delivers a great performance in that one, because he is a unstable person. He does have anger management issues, but he loves his family so much. So showing that range was very intriguing to see, and I emotionally connected with him, where I didn't with anyone in this older movie. So I would definitely recommend the new one. I think the new one's really good.
These are two different types of movies.
Yeah, they're different enough that they shouldn't
Yeah.
be comparable, honestly.
I mean, and I haven't seen the one, and I don't plan on seeing the new one unless somebody makes me. So I have no horse in the race of trying to say one is better than the other.
Yeah.
Because what it sounds like these are two literally different stories. And in the original, we don't know what happens with the rebellion once the news once the lies of the network and the government get out. We don't know. It just kind of ends. People cheering, and that sickens me. Not the movie doesn't sicken me. It's the people that sicken me because in just 3 hours, all these people they became fans of him. And I have to cough. Hang on. Go ahead.
Yeah. In the older ones, I don't know where your point was going with that one, but yeah, the new one it does have an epilogue, so you see where the story goes a little bit in the new one. There is an epilogue, so you see a bit of the resolution, and that's where the flaws are in the new one, especially. Is just everything related to the epilogue has problems in the new one.
Excuse me. What I was saying was, my point was though, is that what disgusts me is people's behavior in the original movie that. They're so easily swayed. But I think that to me, that's kind of the point. They're all sheeple. And they're also doped up by this world that whoever's delivering the most violence is who they cheer for. And that's not the story. The second movie, the remake, I got to cough again, damn it.
Yeah, I mean, there is that aspect of it in the new one as well. They're sheep to a certain extent, but like I said earlier, it is a goal. A lot of these people voluntarily join these game shows, and they see it as a way out. Now, the network tries to discourage that behavior because the network frames everyone who joins the games as lazy people. It's like these people didn't want to pay their debts to society. They wanted an easy out. They wanted to free themselves from the confines of society. Mock them and berate them for being lazy pieces of shit. But it still was a goal for a lot of people because of how much money you could make. The Running Man, the money that they could have got was $1 billion if you won. And so even with, inflation being insane in that world, that's life-changing. That brings his family out of the slums. His daughter's never going to be at risk of the flu again. And yeah, it changes so much about your life that it overrides that reputation the network tries to give.
The difference, of course, in the 87 version, once we get to the game itself, it's only a 3 to 5 hour story. 3 hours for the game, probably a couple hours later for the attack on the network building. The remake, as you described to me, takes place over days, maybe even a week, it sounds like.
No. The Running Man game, the season takes place over a month.
A month.
So the goal is to survive for a month.
There's a lot more to make sense of getting people on his side. It's a lot easier to believe that people are going to start rooting for him over a month,
right?
Than just 3 hours. And watching bloodthirsty grandmas suddenly cheer for him, it makes me. I despise the population in each movie, but I think you're supposed to, is what I'm saying, and. One of the failures is there's no resolution. Oh, the resistance got their win, but what happened? We don't know. It just ends with everybody cheering that he gets the girl and he killed Killian. They're all fine that he killed Killian, the man that they had been worshiping for 30 years on television, just got rocketed through a sign.
Yeah, and Arnold was saying that line is, I might be new to television, but I know what people want. They want to see you die. And it's like, do they?
That man was like a father in their home through the television.
Yeah,
they believe that
he was a beloved celebrity.
Yeah, so I guess as you said, it's I can't get my words right. The evidence tape showing what Killian was lying to you. Yeah, that's enough to turn on, but it's not that.
It's not like he's actually responsible for the Bakerfield massacre. I think that would have been a lot more of a justification for the people wanting his blood specifically. But he's the just
front
a commentator.
He's the front man for all the lies, and he buys into it. And of course, I think one of the other big differences is in the original, it's literally the government. From what I understand in the remake, it's big corpos.
There's still a government that's being there are corporations involved, but there's still a government that runs the network. The network is a government agency.
Okay. All right. So that's still somewhat the same. but it's more of the corpo because Josh
Yes.
Brolin's character is evil CEO man.
Yeah, he's the head of the network.
Okay. Okay.
So he's the producer of all the shows and whatnot. That's why I think it makes more sense to he's Killian, but they separated Killian's roles as producer and presenter. So if you saw the trailers, the black guy presenting the Running Man show, that's the other half of this guy's character. They decided there should be two different characters fulfilling those two different roles. I don't know if that's how it was in the book originally or not, but
I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, all right. I don't have anything else to say. You got anything else you want to throw in there?
I just want to say both of these movies are dumb fun, and if you look at them that way, you're going to have a lot of fun with either of them. If you're reading into messages, if you've been hyped up that the old one is high art like I was, you're going to be a little disappointed. I do have to admit that. I was given the impression that this was some sort of incredible centerpiece movie, and then watching it, it was just dumb fun. So if you look at both of them as dumb fun, you're going to have a good time. They're action-packed, they're adrenaline-filled, and they're just a good time. But the glazing and the rewriting of history for this one to somehow say the new one is bad, I think is cringe. A lot of people who are just saying the new one is awful and the other one is so much superior is a flawed perspective, in my opinion.
What I think that's just people still essentially triggered and pissed off at everything for the past 6 years. That they don't want anything remade, and even if something is its own thing as a remake, they don't want to like it.
Yeah, they don't want to accept a remake.
And at this point, I think people need to stop being so triggered by everything. We need a return to objectivity. We really do. It's time to weigh things on their merits. Do I think that the movie should have been remade? Probably not. I mean, stop remaking things and make new things. But there is a serious objectivity problem going on, and people are jumping the gun, and people are they're looking to have their feelings reciprocated from the people that review everything. So a lot of people that review things are going to maybe kind of tip their thoughts to make sure they don't piss off their audiences.
Be what they're expected to be. And no, there is no political messaging in the new one. It is not woke or anything like that. The staple, the if there is anything, the idea of the movie is presented by Josh Brolin's character. He specifically says, producers, people like me back in the day, they were so obsessed with giving the audience some sort of watered down message or preaching to them. And that nearly destroyed Hollywood when we needed to realize that sometimes we just need to be entertaining. And yes, his actions from that conclusion are wrong. Making gladiatory games is not the response to wokeness, which is basically what he's talking about, but just to be entertaining. And I think that's the ethos of the new movie. It's specifically exactly like he says. People are expecting a message. Let's just give them something fun instead. And it's literally said in the film, and I think that's exactly what's accomplished. The new movie is just entertainment. It is just fun. It is turn your brain off, enjoy. It is not political. It is not woke.
It's the same mid-level entertainment that the original one was. Just mid-level, nothing. It's not breaking the mold. It's not anything new.
Not at all.
And it knows what it is.
Absolutely.
It knows what it is. All right, I don't know what to say. There's no soundtrack to this movie, so we're going to move on with that. No, with that. So, and my voice is starting to give out again because I keep coughing. So I'm going to give my rating. It's my week. Jed pretty much just summed it up pretty well, and I'll add, and I did my summary pretty well a moment ago. That objectivity needs to be understood. This is an Arnold vehicle through and through. Arnold is there to kick ass, take names, throw out one-liners, look like a badass, shoot guys, beat guys up, and this movie accomplishes that in spades. But with such a simple story, with such a simple premise, with such an uncomplicated run of the three acts, there's not a lot to get invested in. You just get on, enjoy the ride, have a little fun. Don't think too hard, because that's what these movies used to be about, not thinking too hard. So as a mid-level Arnold action movie, which is what I think it is, as much as I like it, it's a mid-level Arnold action movie. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. You're up.
Well, that's not far off from me in any way, because yes, this is a simple movie that I struggled to get invested in and everything like that. But because it was so simple, I don't think it has any plot holes. There's nothing in it that I think is breaking it. It is just straightforward. Yeah, there's this guy who is a good guy who was accused of being a criminal, so he has to participate in a game show and then accidentally bring apart the revolution that wanted to bring down the government. It's super simple, but it's uncomplicated, and so it doesn't fall into a lot of pitfalls, and that's in its favor. I think that's a lot in its favor, and it's just so much fun, just like the new one. The new one I gave a 6.5, just like you did with this one, and I think it is slightly better. But the Arnold movie from the 80s is right there behind it. It is so close, so I have to give it a 6 out of 10.
That's fair, and I like the word you said, uncomplicated. That's a very good way to put it. It's an uncomplicated movie that is just a simple action movie. That's a lot of fun. And anybody that says Running Man 87 is high art, they're smoking some of that 87 crack that Dre talks about all the time. They're smoking that 87 crack. It was not high art. It's just a fun action movie. And there are much better Arnold action movies that are art.
Yeah.
Arnold has been in artistic action movies that have defined a generation, like Terminator 2. Those are movies that defined generations. Listen, that's Stallone. That's a different category. We've already covered Demolition Man, so.
But Running Man is not risky, so there's no reward. There's no.
Exactly.
So they didn't put anything on the line, so they didn't fail at anything, I would say.
It's a good way. Yeah. Very simple and complicated. So there we go. Now, we are off next weekend because it is Thanksgiving weekend. I don't make anybody work on the holiday weekends because I never know what everybody's travel plans are. So, Jed, do you have a movie for the following week, or are we just going to wait on that one?
I do have a movie for the following week. So there are some big changes coming to the Hollywood Scholar channel, and I'll be talking about them more tomorrow. But the next Sunday, the 30th, is the unveiling of the channel rebrand, which comes with a lot of name changes, art changes, content changes. So much about the channel is changing, and I feel that the film I'm going to pick for the next Saturday Night Drive-In aligns perfectly with the channel rebrand and will be a great way to start out this new chapter in this in my channel. And it's a film that Adam has never seen, so it'll be nice.
I think I know what it's going to be. Can I call it? Can I call it? You're going to be watching Interstellar. You're going to be watching Interstellar, aren't you?
You're damn right. We're going to be watching Interstellar. I watched that movie when it came out in theater in D-Box. I don't know if you know what that is. It's where the seat moves with the movie. It's really cool. And yeah, I watched it right when it came out. I think it's a great movie. There are issues with it, like this a particular love speech. There's a speech about how love transcends space and time. That speech is awful, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun and align with the channel rebrand very well. So yeah, we're going to be talking about 2014's Interstellar from Christopher Nolan,
which I have never seen. I have never seen it. So I know some people wax poetic about that movie, so I'm going to finally get to weigh in on it. Now, of course, in the interim, guys. In the interim 2 weeks, then before the week is over, probably by tomorrow afternoon, I'll have it set up. It's that time of the quarter again as we wind down the year. It is time for a Chat Choice movie, December edition, which means one of the rules, the overriding rule is you got to submit Christmas movies. You got to submit them Christmas movies. So that's so Chat Choice movie for December 2025, for fourth quarter 2025 will be enacted. We're going to give you guys 2 weeks until we come back with Interstellar. So you guys are going to have 2 weeks to vote, and then we'll probably do for you guys right before we go on break for Christmas. So that's it. We've already done Die Hard, Wiley Dave.
It is a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie, and that was a very fiery episode because we had Mustang on, who does not think it's a Christmas movie, and he and I got into it on that one. You can go watch that. It's on the playlists. So we did do that. We could do Die Hard too. That's a Christmas movie.
I've never seen any of the other ones besides the original.
Okay. Well, Die Hard 1 is Die Hard. Die Hard 2 is good. Not as much, but it's still a fun movie. Die Hard with a Vengeance is not a Christmas movie because it takes place in the summer in New York. So, but it's also really good.
Which Lethal Weapons 2, we could have the argument that was a Christmas one, like we did with the first
Lethal Weapon 1. Well, we already did Lethal Weapon with X-Ray Girl, so we've already done
that's what I'm saying. So I wish the second one we could also make.
Yeah, but it didn't. There's no holiday in that one. And Live Free and Die Hard is also not a Christmas movie because it doesn't take place. I would stop there. If you ever go through all of them, stop with Live Free Die Hard, because the fifth one is garbage. It's not even a Die Hard movie. It's not. It's like John McClane's just along for the ride with his son for reasons. It's not so good. But they all the four real Die Hard movies, they all hold up to various degrees. So we'll do them all eventually because they're fun. But so that's it, guys. So I will probably put it up in my community section or post. Now it's called the post section, not community tab. The post tab on my channel with the rules and all that kind of stuff. And you guys will have 2 weeks to submit your votes, and then we will give it to a third party who will make the choice. And remember, Christmas movies, and try to be like Christmas movies, nothing too line crossing. So the rules will be there. You can have it. It's your chance to make us watch stuff. I've already chosen what my Christmas movie this year is going to be. I've already chosen mine. So that should be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be fun anyway. So my voice is giving out. So thank you guys for joining us today. We appreciate each and every one. We thank you for being here. Hit those like buttons, subscribe to the channels, and we'll see you tomorrow on Roundtable episode 200. Until then, guys, take it easy.